So, as I said, we're gonna do the cabbage. So for the cabbage, the first thing you want to do is get yourself a jumbo pot, frying pan with, let's see, some extra virgin olive oil. You're gonna need plenty, but you want to put enough in for now. I'll stop it. As I said, we're going to do the cabbage, the country style fried cabbage. Right here is a jumbo size pan with extra virgin olive oil. First thing you want to do, start to heat that up, but keep it low because you don't want it popping at you while you're cutting the cabbage up. So I'm going to put that like that and go over here, slice up the cabbage. Slice it up any type of way you like to. I think everybody has their preference. So I like to slice mine in thin, kind of thin lines. Alright, that looks like a not so great one. So what we're going to do, you don't want the grease to heat up too much. So let's get a little bit more in there because we're going to have a whole lot of cabbage to cook. I'm not so much of a professional yet, am I? Pause. So what we got now is the cabbage inside the pan. I'm going to put a lid on it for now. I'm going to go over here. The things that you want to have ready. Oops, this is not what I'm looking for. And this is what I'm looking for. You want to have your cayenne pepper. We're going to use a whole lot of that. A bit of seasoning salt. Also some salt-free seasoning. Some crushed red peppers. Your black pepper. Your red onion, you could use white if you choose, but for this recipe I always try to use red onions, a clove of garlic, apple cider vinegar, and your portobello mushrooms. As we have all the cabbage inside of the pan for now, the next thing we want to get to is our onions. So again, I always take the first layer off by making a little incision. So it's easy to peel that first layer off and get the absolute freshest part of the onion. So this quick and simple recipe. You cut your onions whichever way you choose. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine are hardly ever perfect when I cut them. So, have our onions cut up. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get these inside of here. A lot of onions. Trust me, they make it taste so delicious. I love onions. And these ones, the red onions, cooked perfect with the cabbage. We'll get to our seasoning in a bit. But we want our cabbage to cook a little bit before we get into all that. So I'm going to take quite a bit of olive oil so that it don't get dried out and burnt down in the bottom. And what we want to start doing, see, we can start kind of moving the cabbage around. And once we see a little brownness on the bottom, we know that it's really time to stir it up. But right now, it seems pretty good that we can leave it to saute a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of what you want to get it to look like when you start stirring. Alright, so we're just going to leave this alone for now. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to our portobello mushrooms. Wash off our knife. Wash off our cutting board. A little quick rinse. Now that we have our mushrooms, this is about 6 nice sized mushrooms at about this size each. So you want to get about 6 ones about that size or equal to that. Open that back up. Spread it around. So see if we can stir it up from the bottom a little bit. You want to flip it, you're going to have to use 2 hands. Take a spoon in your hand, flip it, caress it, so that it doesn't go all over the place. So, let me get this cooked as even as possible. It's going to saute for quite some time. Alright, so let's get back to that. Now, we're going to, before we finish, start our seasoning, we're going to let that saute for about 5 minutes. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. So now, we're about to do our seasoning. Cut up some garlic, all nice and small pieces. I'm going to start with the garlic. Sprinkle it. Get it in there. It'll move itself around when you stir it up, so I don't want to be too concerned about how much you spread it up. Alright, so now we want to start with a little bit, oops, almost forgot, kosher salt. Don't want to forget that. So take about a pinch of kosher salt, spread that around. Please do not use regular salt. The difference is definitely noticeable. So I'm going to start with some salt-free seasoning. So with that I can get a lot of it. I get a lot of the seasoning. Like to come out. Don't be too shy. There we go. See that? Now you can add a little seasoning salt, not a lot. That's just enough. Now we're going to get our red peppers. You want plenty of those. Plenty of crushed red peppers. We're definitely going to use a lot of black pepper. Grounded black pepper. Don't be shy. So, and last, for the seasoning, it's cayenne pepper. This is what we're going to use the most of, by far. So this is just the first sprinkle. It's more than a sprinkle. So before we get the apple cider vinegar in here, let's stir this up a little bit. Oh, my nose. Pepperish. So last but not least, your apple cider vinegar. You're going to do about 2 caps full. Spread it out like that. You're definitely going to taste this. So 2 caps full will do you just fine. And stir that up a little bit. You can smell it. We want to go back to our cayenne pepper. As I said, you use a lot of cayenne pepper because we want it to be nice and spicy and smack us dead in the mouth when we eat it. Get that taste in you. Alright, so now we're just going to let it simmer a little bit longer, and then we'll be done. And that's your country style fried cabbage that I like to call it. And prep time is only about 15 to 20 minutes. So in less than a half an hour you can have this done. The cost of it, cabbage you get it for about $2. You need your mushrooms for about $1. That adds up 3. Your onions, make it about 4 or 5. And you already have your condiments, so you're looking at less than $10 to make a large serving. So we're all set, all ready to go. So that's the final recipe. This is what you get after that, and yes indeed, it tastes absolutely delicious. So this is a simple recipe for simple cooking. Once again, please subscribe, share, and like.